Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk episode 302. More Product Pod. We're coming at you this time with Guni Wheel. Sergio's back for another episode. We had him on a few years back. He's the inventor of the Guni Wheel. And we've got Melissa and Justin from Zips, their American distributor. All things Guni Wheel and what's new and what they provide you, the C10 Nation. Here we go.
Yeah, so, I try and make everybody happy. I'm built that way. I try and find a solution for everything and everybody. If I can't, I disappoint myself. I'm always out there trying to make sure that I give my customers the best, So there are moments where we cannot help a customer for some reason, and it's almost like, do I go and just design one wheel for this guy? And I'm like, I can't do that. It's just too expensive. So I do have those moments, but I generally try and satisfy everybody, from everybody from our current customers to our potential customers.
Damn, son.
Hey guys, let me tell you about LMC Truck. Keeping generations on the road. Think about that. It's pretty deep. So whether your truck was handed down or something you went out and bought, odds are you were handed a bunch of paperwork, maybe a folder. In that folder was probably the catalog. You know the one, the most up-to-date and detailed catalog available today. It's like an encyclopedia for our trucks. Their website is just as detailed and informative. LMCtruck.com. LMCtruck.com. So whether you're restoring old memories or creating new ones, LMC Truck is here to help. They're more than just a parts company. They truly understand the lifestyle and passion of owning a classic truck. So get out there and get to work on your truck and know that LMC is here to help. You can get online, lmctruck.com, and order your free catalog today. Keeping generations on the road. lmctruck.com.
Let me tell you what Melbourne Toast is packing right here, all right? We've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth clapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Wetch.
What's up? What's up? A little back-to-back action. 301 LS Fab Product Pod. And then 302, literally dropping them both at the same time. I had reached out to both companies about being on a product pod. You end up going a little long, you throw it into their own episode. So this round, we've got Sergio, the creator and founder of the Guni Wheel, and then his American distributors is Zips, and we've got Melissa and Justin sitting in on this one. So a lot of fun sitting down with companies like this that are new companies when we have sat down with them previously and then everything that we've seen change. So they have their new X Wheel. It is awesome. And I tell you what, man, it can fit 3 to 4 to 5 different builds with the interchanging hub that they have. So I always dig sitting down with companies like this. And again, bringing you guys, getting that information, passing it on to you. You do what you will with it, but I enjoy that we have these companies out there making such great products, and they make our lives easier. I've got SEMA next week. I'll be getting some pod there, so episode 303 when I get back. And then we've got the Get Down, the 14th annual Chevy Only Get Down. Did a live over there last night, sat down with Dino and Terry. We did knock off a lot of good questions. Really just get there early, be respectful, no burnouts. AMD's got a whole week planned. Starts on like Tuesday and goes through Thursday. There usually is an East Side Thursday pre-party, but reached out to the guys that are usually behind that, and that is a no-go this year. So you've got the West Side, Trey 5 and Eye Candy, which is always a great party. Literally one of the best pre-parties out there. So that will be at Trey 5 and Eye Candy Shop, which is about 3 to 4 miles north of where the get down is, out on the west side. So that's the main pre-party, if you will, Thursday night. There's plenty going on the whole week. Get Down 2024, just around the corner. Again, sat down, did the live, some really fun things. One fun thing for us is they were talking about some raffle stuff, and I just said, hey, what do you think about raffling off a podcast? So you guys will be able to come to the C10 Nation, C10 Talk booth, fill out your little thing. It's a little, I guess a raffle ticket. Take it over to the main barrel, and if you win, then you're going to get your own podcast. So whether you're a garage guy, whether you're a company, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You're getting your own episode, a C10 Talk. Come by the C10 Talk, C10 Nation booth. We'll have new hats, new shirts, new gear, stickers. As always, we have second to none stickers. I mean, we have so many rad stickers and a lot going on. We also will have all of our Doja Mat stuff set out. So we've got Doja Mats. We're going to have all kinds of reunion stuff, getting ready for the 4th annual quote-unquote senior year reunion 2025. So raffle, podcast, shirts, hats, tees, stickers. The coolest shirt that I think I might have ever made is the 10-year shirt. So on the 10-year shirt, I kind of wanted it concert style, and I was able to put a bunch of episodes on the back. I took out anybody that was a repeat offender. Dino, obviously SEMA coverage, Get Down coverage, show coverage, anything like that. Took it out, ended up with like 231 names on the back, 10 years and 300 plus episodes. And that's not even counting bonus stuff. Somebody reached out and they said, well, we were on like twice from SEMA, and those shows kind of got kicked out because when I go to truck shows, I'm doing 8 interviews, maybe 10, and I couldn't list all those individually. So this is what it is. But some really cool names, and just a cool thing to think that we kind of have that many podcasts out there for 10 years. So that shirt will be available. The Hot Wheels C10 Nation shirt will be available. And then we did an OBS shirt as well. Great Sense 88. There's going to be a ton of raffles. They're giving away like 2 motors, a car trailer. Jackson Trailers is giving away a trailer. It's just crazy. So make sure you are hitting these booths, these vendor booths, getting your raffle ticket and getting it into the big barrel at Dino's booth. 12 o'clock Saturday is the big raffle, the Get Down raffle. So off to SEMA. Gonna see these guys, gonna see Melissa, Justin, and Sergio over there. Again, I hope you enjoy this pod. I'll get a couple social media posts up of how rad these X Wheels are and this interchanging hub and why I love them and why you need them. Okay? All right, off to SEMA. Again, 303 will be just behind this one, coverage from SEMA, and then we'll be over at the Get Down, and that will probably be 304. And then who knows, maybe the winner of the raffle will be 305. That would be kind of cool, right? Okay, as always, we do appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to check out 301 LS Fab if you jump to 302 and we're like, hey, what happened? Well, I dropped them pretty much at the same time. It's a double drop. Never really done that before, but why not? Keeping you guys on your toes, all right? Okay, guys, have a great week. Hope you had a great Halloween. Thanks, as always, for tuning in. Appreciate your support. Melissa, Justin, Sergio, thanks for taking time to sit down with the C10 Nation, C10 Talk, Truck Talk Media. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you next week at SEMA. Safe travels to everybody. Have a great week. Late. All right. What up, C10 Nation? We've got the man, the myth, the legend, and I tell you what, this is Guni Wheel Day. Halloween, what a perfect day. Sergio's down in Cape Town. He's got the map behind him. He's got little pumpkins all over the whole continent. And we had you on before. What a good time. So I've got Justin. I've got sweet Melissa from Zips. And I've got Sergio from Guni Wheel. Welcome. I can't wait to catch up and talk about the new X. So welcome.
Thank you. Good to be back on. Always,
I'm glad we got the time zone thing figured out.
Good to be on. Good to be on. Glad to join you, especially on Halloween. We all got our orange Guni Wheel representing today.
Yeah, it is a good day. So, Sergio, we had you guys on, and it was cool. So since then, I think I was even telling Melissa one time we ran into her at one of the truck shows, in the fire department, I'll see them on cars that are getting transported. I'll see them on cars that are getting towed. You can't even go to a shop anymore without seeing some pumpkin wheels. And so the success of the OG, you've got to be really happy of, again, just what you've been able to accomplish. And then, like anything, you've made some changes, and the future looks great. So what's been happening since you rolled everything out?
Yeah, look, it's been a super exciting ride. I mean, the company's super young. We really just started in 2019, and in 5 years, we are now represented in 36 countries around the globe, which is unreal, and I think it all just came down to, just the brand, just the quality of the product, the back end service that we give all our customers around the world. We make sure that our customers are treated like gold, so that's really what brought us to the next level. And obviously, look, what took us to the moon was, having all the celebrities and all these cool car builders out there that use my wheels, and they just love the product. It helps them, get those restorations through the restoration process easier, cleaner, without damaging the original or the aftermarket expensive wheels. So, that took us to another level. And the color, I think the color was just like, bam, it's in your face. So, we've obviously had a few, little guys come around, they try to copy our product, they try to copy our brand, but at the end of the day, the auto industry, we, believe it or not, we're quite a loyal bunch to each other. We kind of help each other out, we stick to each other, we see who's trying to do right for the industry, and that's who we work with. And funny enough, all these guys have come and gone, and people still turn around and go, hey, that's not a Guni wheel. I don't want that crap. Yeah, we stick with the original guys. The guys that put in all the time, all the R&D, all the money into R&D and and engineering. So that's what we do, and I think that's what made our brand become just a global, solid, household or shophold name, and obviously partnering with the right distributors. I was very selective about my distribution partners, not just in the US, but around the world. Obviously, we get inquiries every day, like, hey, how do we become a distributor? Can we? But, we've also got to make sure that that distributor can, take our pride, take our joy that we put into the product and pass it on to the end user. So when I get a feel, I try to stay very involved with the business, talk to everybody from the, still from the guy that's working on the car all the way up to the CEOs to make sure we know where we are. And that's how we keep developing products. As we spoke the last time together, we still had, the original Guni Wheel 45. And, now we're sitting with a 45. We've got a 45S. We've got a 56. We've got an 80. We've got a Guni Hub. We've got the Guni X's now. We've got the Guni X 45, 56, 80, 60 out, So what we do as our team, we listen to the audience. What do you guys want? What more do we need? And we take it in, and I'm on the drawing board every day trying to figure out, better products and better results for the industry. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride, and we continue to grow. And obviously now, we've had a great relationship with Zips over the last couple of years. Zips were very, very more focused in the towing, and now they saw the light of the great restoration world. They saw the light of the the collision industry, and they are now going to take Guni Wheel to the next level.
Yeah. So for you guys at Zips, carrying so many different products, and then you have this product that's catches fire. How I mean, I got to think that there's multiple different products that you guys deal with, and not too many South African Cape Town owners. So that's probably an adventure as well. How does that work for you guys in the distribution perspective?
Yeah, I think for us, over at Zips, the key for us is innovation, right? We've made a lot of ground in certain markets, especially in the towing and recovery space, but we'll always have our ear to the ground for innovation and innovative products. And, when we got introduced to Sergio and this wheel, we just saw this massive opportunity that serves not only our market, but multiple other markets as well. And a great entry point for us to see what else we can do and how else we can grow the brand overall and build off of the innovation and excitement that Sergio has created, for Guni Wheel in general.
Do you guys get a lot of, when we think about like distribution for perspective of Sergio, your company, you work with Zips in the States. Is it a funnel that goes the other way too, from the process of what you guys at Zips are hearing from the customer, and then you guys have kind of a log and you're like, hey, I'm just going to keep firing stuff back? Or do you, I guess, kind of say, maybe, but oh, wow, that's a good one. I got to make sure I get that back. Is that flow of information, is that a big thing as a distributor, getting it back to these young communities or companies that are starting, and that flow of that information to make sure that they're hearing from said customer?
Yeah, 100%. I think you nailed it there, Ronnie. Especially for Guni Wheel and our relationship with Sergio and our market. As I said, innovation has been the key, right? So when we hear feedback from other markets, Sergio takes that and runs with it, right? Which is why we've got these multiple different, models that serve different purposes in different markets. So that constant flow of information, and let's call it what it is, right? Sergio, as he stated earlier, is on the ground, boots on the ground, just as much as the next guy. And he's the inventor and founder of the company, right? But he has this great relationship with the end users and understands intimately what works, what doesn't, what can be better. And to marry our distribution and some of the markets that we serve, and him being receptive to that and constantly innovating, it's really been a great match.
Sergio, obviously, we're here primarily today to talk about the X and the adjustment that you have now. I feel like, has that gone as fast as you wanted it to go? Or was that one of those things where once that idea, because I almost feel like you probably had this idea, like almost when you started the company, it didn't take long. Has that been an evolution to get the interchanging hubs and figure out that blend and that process from the ingenuity perspective to making an idea on my brain, print, paper to reality?
Yeah, so the X took a little bit longer than usual. There's a lot more moving parts. With the original wheels, it was just a solid rim, outer polyurethane tire. We made sure you probably know this. My first generation wheel, we had a very slight 33 millimeter offset, so we needed to bring in the spaces. Then we brought out the 45S to eliminate the spaces, because obviously the bigger brake calipers, but that's an easy amendment to a product. There's not many moving parts. We adjust the molding, we adjust the drawings, and that's a quick change of tooling and out we go. But now when it came to the X, we had to think about a whole lot of different components. We needed to think of how heavy electric cars are. Batteries on those electric cars weigh a ton on the back axle, so even though we had to bring in some ceramic into the wheels to create a bearing system, we had to make sure that the ceramic could handle the load of these heavy batteries. So that took a little bit more R&D. It took a lot more testing. We came out with one wheel, we scrapped it, we brought another one out. Now we've got a great wheel that Melissa and Justin and Zips are selling out there. And the whole idea around the Guni X was, I brought out the Guni hub, obviously, for when brakes are locked and cars are shut down, and but that was a two-part system. So now I brought the Guni hub, the Guni wheel into one system, so that it's an easy one part, one mount, and off you go. So the whole purpose of that Guni X was, again, I was going to the tow shows with Zips, and the tow guys are going, man, Serge, these damn Teslas are a pain in the ass. We've got to drag them up. The wheels are locked up when they shut down. We've got to try to get the damn car, all fired up again before we could disengage the brakes again. Can you not figure out a solution? And obviously my brain starts spinning, the Johnny Walker starts flowing, and there comes the idea again, So, and then I had the idea of creating a bearing system, in the whole wheel. And now it's easy and very important. Now that you've got a wheel that is self-rolling, it can also become a safety issue, because you don't want to put a car down on the ground and it's on an uneven surface. And next thing you know, that car's rolling down the road and smacking into somebody else or into another car. So we also had to bring in a safety system onto the wheel. So we've got our locking pins, make sure that the locking pins are strong enough to handle a heavy loaded vehicle. So all of that, took a bit longer than the original 45S. But at the end of the day, we knew when we've come out with a product, we're coming out with a banger of a product, which we have. And as you know, at SEMA last year, we won 4 awards with that product. I think it's unheard of for one company to win so many awards at one SEMA show. So it's a great product. It's going to help the industry. And Ronnie, what I did also was, again, I listened to the audience, especially in your guys' world, in the resto, in the C10, in the truck builds. You guys love dropping that suspension to the ground. So a lot of the guys had the issue of the 45. They couldn't get a jack under because of the outside diameter of the 45. So I made the Guni X, 2 inches wider, because I listened to your guys. I listened to that will. Right, let's make it a bit higher, a little bit taller. Now they can get the jack in and out. So all those little bits and pieces that I hear goes to drawing board. It's happened to many a times. I'm finished the product. I've got my R&D out. I've got my prototypes out. And then some guy goes and throws me another little curveball. But Serge, can it do this? I'm like, oh, of course we can. And back to the drawing board. I've just spent like 30 to 50 grand on molds. And yeah, we are, twisting molds again and trying to salvage what we can on the mold to make that final adjustment. So that's exactly where it comes from. And that's why the Guni X took a little bit longer to come, to really flush into the market. And obviously, here we are now. And it's not the last one, I can tell you that.
Exactly, because the ingenuity is there. And I'll do plenty of posts for this, but for the audience, when you think about what he's saying, is you have a wheel that's on like an inner track, and then a hub that can replace to fit, multiple assortments of different cars. So then within that inner track hub, you've got 4 outer locking screws that are going to set that wheel or that track wheel from moving. So a lot of different working parts on a system. Like you said, hey, we're ready to go to, to print, to mold, let's go. And then, shit, this is a great idea. Stop the presses. We're not going to, we've got to really try to hit as many birds with one stone. We're throwing darts at the dartboard. We're coming up with all these ideas. And now you have something that's not necessarily all in one, but you're covering so many different facets for the end user. And then the shop. I mean, the guys can grab different hubs right off the wall. Okay, what do we got? We got a Ford Escort. We got a Tesla. We got an 8-lug Chevy truck. Whatever we got, we've got options, and we can put a Guni and match that up for that. So it's definitely a remarkable product. And like you said, 4 different awards. In 5 years that you've been around, let's talk about the beginning. I mean, the beginning you were getting Super Bowl trophies left and right. So you think about the marketing plan that you have and where you are today. You've got to, Fridays down there, you be patting yourself on the back and having a good shot of Johnny Walker, because it's got to feel good.
Yeah, I always get asked that, especially by my close family. They look at me and they go, Serge, do you realize what you've done? And I don't. I'm just so still involved in the business. I'm still so involved and excited and overwhelmed about what's happening. I've never really sat back and gone, damn, that's wow, because I love it so much. I don't want to, get overwhelmed, because I'm almost feeling like it's, you're giving it a bit of an arm length away from you, because it's, is it time to pat the back, and it's not there yet, because we've just got so much more to do, but look, I get told quite a lot by, a lot of people. It's like, wow, you in such a short time, what you've created, with, a product, not really a company, but with a product, you should be proud of yourself. And it's, there are moments when I try and take it in, but, I'm just so excited for the future. So I still want to take more in, it's like, I feel like with the day I pat my back is the day I'm like going to retire or something. I don't want to do that, so I'm trying to keep that pat on the back away for a few more years, until I'm like, sitting on the side of the lake with my fishing rod in the water, with a Johnny Walker next to me going, all right, now we can say, well done, so I still want to always stay humble, in the industry, make sure that, not just me, myself, but all my partners, distributors, we always stay true to the game. We stay true to ourselves. We stay true to the industry, and we stay true to the future of the industry coming in. that need a lot of guidance now. They need a lot of advice, and I'm more than happy to be out there doing talks to all these colleges and, younger generation that, as we all know, it's a challenge keeping these kids in the industry because they get sidetracked so damn quickly with, social media and, fly-by-night jobs on a cruise ship or, that type. And they drop a great career in the automotive industry. So, I am involved in a lot of those, education foundations as well. So I try to give back. As Guni Wheel, we also want to give back to make our future in the automotive industry a longevity, that it's still got a long lifespan. So yeah, definitely overwhelmed.
We need a lot more people and owners like you. Would you say that, and this might be a little naive on my perspective, from the States versus, outside of the States or in South Africa, is it easier to start a company, or would you say it was more challenging being outside of the States?
Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LS-LT based power plant? Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the U.S. That's psiconversion.com. What's up, guys? Who doesn't like to bundle and save? The team at UP Car Parts knows this, and they put together 7 different bundles for you to choose from to save up to 20% off of your lighting. From headlights to taillights to marker lights, UP Car Parts got you covered. upcarparts.com. Save up to 20% today.
Need C10 parts? Well, here at Pro, we actually have trucks. We build them, we drive them, and we deal with them every day. It's just part of who we are. We carry the best products for your truck project from the major name brands such as QA1, React, Painless, Dakota, Beltec, Borgeson, Bear, and even more. Give us a call or check us out on the web.
You've heard me talk about my gauges, Dakota Digital. I love them. Dakota Digital has the best gauges for our trucks. These kits are complete with sensors for any engine. They look just like the stock clusters, but have all the technology you'd expect from Dakota Digital. It's like a modern truck, but even better in a classic. Dakota Digital is absolutely the best in aftermarket gauges, so check them out at dakotadigital.com. dakotadigital.com.
Is it easier to start a company, or would you say it was more challenging being outside of the States?
So I love the United States of America. Okay. And I've always loved it. And Guni Wheel wouldn't be Guni Wheel today without the United States of America. The United States of America is the market. It is the brand. The automotive industry is our blood runs automotive in America. It's just such a great community. People support it. It's massive. You've got 350 million people, that are, out there excited about cars. And, there's just new cars every day. So you get your different markets, like my second biggest market would be, the UK. Then we've got, Portugal, Spain, Italy, France, and all those guys that are good. But that's only maybe 20% of the Guni Wheel world. 80% is the United States of America. And, it's just a crazy car culture. I love cars. I love the culture. I love the country, So absolutely, without the United States, there would be no Guni Wheel today. There's no doubt.
But would you say, I think there would be. It might not be the same, but I love that. Big. Yeah, but was it harder? Was it challenging, or was it easier? Sometimes I think the restrictions in the States might even be harder for, like you said, maybe not necessarily a company, but a product. You're kind of like, well, every product has to have a company, and you're like, but I'm kind of a product with a company wrapped around it. And I wonder from the R&D, and if that was more challenging, but you've overcame that, and you're like, hey, it all comes back to my distributors in the States, and that's really what gets me to where I need to be.
That's right. No. So it was actually a lot easier in the United States to get me going. Obviously, obviously we had a great deal in the beginning with LKQ Keystone, as you know, which are a great company in the automotive world. and they obviously helped get the product in front of a lot of body shops and got the brand out there. I couldn't have done that in any other country, and then obviously with Zips coming on board and, crushing it out there with the towing industry, so we covered our grounds in both areas, because of the good distribution partners. And just, when it came to the R&D, obviously I had access in the US to so many OE vehicles, where I could go and do all my measurements, measure up the PCDs, measure up brake calipers, wheel wells, and it was all just available. And if I needed anything ordered, because I remember what I did was way back in the beginning when I was still trying to figure out like lug holes, and I walked into a Home Depot and bought a wheelbarrow wheel that was steel. So I walked out with a wheelbarrow wheel, and my wife's going, "What the hell are you going to do with this thing?" And I actually bought it to drill through it just to see, what kind of temper it could handle, and it was so much R&D, but that was all available in the US. Or it was just going to Amazon and order a tire. Let me just tear this tire up and see what happens. So it definitely made it a lot easier. And also, with the car culture, you bring a new product into the US. I find the market, the people are more open to a new idea, whereas in Europe, Europe's a very generational business setup. So, it would have been grandfather's business, passed on to the son, passed on to the next son. And it's a very stubborn culture, because it's like, no one in my family's ever needed a Guni wheel, and we still got food on our table. Why are you bringing me this new product? So it was a little bit more convincing to be done. And because I'm traveling around Europe, and you're dealing with different cultures, from, the Italians to the Germans, to the Austrians, to the Czech Republic, it was, you had to basically keep turning my hat around, every country I went to, and you had to adapt. And, luckily I speak quite a few languages, which also helped me get through that. And then once they caught on, it became a staple tool in the body shops, in the, in the service centers, in the towing industry. But there was a lot of convincing to be done. There was a lot of bread breaking and late dinners and late nights and, a lot of beers, but we're here now. So, but again, definitely easier in the US for me.
How about social media? I like what you're saying there, where you're like, hey, I'm trying in the UK, I'm trying to get through. It's hard to get through, but I almost feel like because they are so loyal, once you did get through, Johnny's talking to Tommy, Tommy's talking to Scotty, and Scotty's talking to Louie. And you're like, okay, now Johnny liked it, and Johnny don't like nothing. And so now we got it. Is that more word of mouth over there, or versus social media in the States? Because like you said, you had from Ken Diggett to Casey's Paint Shop to all the different shops that I would see, Chip Foos to Street Machinery to Roaster Shop, and we're seeing orange all the time, and we're seeing orange, and there's no confusing, orange is Guni Wheel.
Yeah, so look, it definitely did help, but being a new product, it was really a show and tell product still. You still had to walk into a shop, with the product and physically mount it, physically drop a car, and then like get that reaction from the local technicians. Once you broke the local technician guys, the neighbor would see it and go, "What the hell is that orange thing on your car?" So in those smaller countries, word of mouth actually works better because it's a trust. So they actually trust it because they see it in motion. Their buddy down the road's using it, where maybe they look at it at social media and they go, "Oh, that's just show business. That's just, something from Star Trek or something, where they actually physically see it working, breaks the trust, and then that sort of carries it over." So that was one of my big things with my distributors. I said to them, "Do you have guys on the ground? Do you have boots on the ground that can actually go and show this milkshake machine to the local guys?" And they're like, "Yes, we got." And then I knew they would work, because they physically go. That's how I started. I was walking around Atlanta with this bright orange wheel, down Cobb Highway where all those damn dealerships are, and the cars are driving past me, probably looking at this guy going, "What the hell's that guy carrying?" And that's how I basically started the business, was hopping into those little dealerships and body shops and, down Cobb or down Alpharetta Highway, and then sitting in the guy's waiting room for 2 hours, and then eventually, all right, go to the back and go see what my workshop manager thinks. And I walk in and they're like, oh my God, we've been waiting for something like that all our lives, you know? And then it just from there, it snowballed.
Yeah, I remember the first time we had you on, it was like, how is this? Every guy's like, how did I not think of this? And you're like,
that's right.
I don't know, you might have, but I did, and here it is. So let's do it. And they're like, God bless you. Boom, throw it on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we still get that every day, and Melissa and Justin can obviously back me up on this one. Every show we go to, people are like, why didn't I think of that? Like, who's the genius that thought of that? And I'm like, I don't know, he's some weird guy that lives in the middle of Africa somewhere, but yeah, forget about him. It's like, it's crazy. And we actually put a bell at one point on our table, a little ringer, and every time somebody said, why didn't I think of that, or that's genius, we'd actually ring the bell. And that bell just kept ringing all day, every day, So, and even like, it was funny, a conversation I had with Chip the one time, and he even said, Serge, I've been designing wheels for 30 years, and why didn't I think of this one, So even like, I mean, isn't that an honor, coming from a guy like Chip Foose?
You need a shirt that says, Chip didn't even think of this.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I mean, guys, can we get one for SEMA next week?
We can work on it. We can work on it.
You bet.
I think the interesting point, you talk about social media, right? And what I found is a quick way to drive engagement on a post, especially for the resto world and customization world, is throw a set of Guni wheels on a project, right? And those that have heard of it are ready to defend. And, the person that says, well, what on earth are those tiny orange wheels, and it just drives all these conversations. And then what you can see when it starts to click with those certain people, it's that light bulb moment where it goes, oh my goodness, this is absolutely what we've needed this whole time. So it's pretty cool.
Do you feel like from the marketing, as you guys came in, do you guys feel like there's a challenge there now because there's been such a great job prior that I would think like the challenge would be that first wave has done such a good job and there is a lot of Guni out there? Or are you finding that, hey, we haven't even touched the surface?
Yeah, I would say we haven't even touched the surface right now. I think you're seeing I think you're seeing it in other markets more than others. But as Sergio's mentioned, right, some of those distributors and the boots on the ground got the word out so well. And for this product, as simple of a product as it sounds like to those that understand it, the education to that end user and that customer takes a minute, right? It's the shop owner seeing it on a car and seeing it drop. So I genuinely don't think we've even seen, scratch the surface in terms of the potential, especially with word of mouth and just getting it out in front and into more shops for sure.
What is that challenge for you guys at Zips in the tow and the recovery? And then you get so much of the restoration as well. When you guys are shipping these things out, are you checking a box that says restoration, one guy garage owner working on his truck, chassis shop, tow recovery, and how does that dynamic how does that look for what you guys are shipping out? Mostly tow recovery?
I think that's where it started a lot. We actually do quite a bit in the restoration space. I mean, that is probably right now, it's probably our largest market currently. Towing is catching up pretty quickly, with auto body shops following thereafter. But yeah, I mean, it's the light bulb moment that we've talked about, right? Is once a market starts to understand it and starts to see it, it is great. How do we get our hands on these? And then with the constant innovation of the different products, we want the newest because we can see a very specific use for this new product, and it just catches like wildfire.
Yeah, I would think from the auto body perspective that you haven't even touched the surface, and there's so much there. There's just so many. There's guys that aren't even on social media today. They have like, what the Charlie, what's that orange thing? Some kid, he's like 25, trying to tell his dad. His dad's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Goonies? I watched that when I was a kid. What are you talking about? The truffle shuffle? Yeah, so exciting times that's going to continue. When you think about like the different challenges of keeping up with the marketing. I know, Sergio, you were down, it had to be down south somewhere. I mean, because you guys were speaking, I don't know if it was Spanish or South African, or I don't know, but there was a translation on there. Now with the X coming out, is that going to roll out a whole new marketing plan for, are we going to see that next wave?
Yeah, so definitely we're working hard on that at the moment, because it's a different focus. It's more focused on the electric world. It's all more EV focused now, EV brakes, EV handbrakes, Teslas, Rivians, all these cars that shut down. So we've got to refocus now our marketing from, your usual damaged collision car that's been in an accident, wheels go out for wheel repair. Now we've also got to focus not just on that part of the segment, but also the fact that cars are shutting down. Cars are going flat. They cannot disengage them. They got to get Guni wheels on there to move them around the shop, get them onto a tow bed. So our focus is also going to be more onto what is the utilization of the Guni X. The market knows now what the Guni wheel is. Most of them, I still, I'm quite active on the social media sites, so, we might have Brian Fuller put something out there, and, I go look at some of the comments, and people are still saying, how are you going to drive on those pizza cutters? How fast can you drive on those pizza cutters? I'd love to do a burnout on those, those little small little Lego wheels we got on there, So there's still a lot of people out there that are uneducated what the original Guni wheel is. So we still haven't even tapped into that audience, completely, let alone now with the Guni X. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and I'm going to say it again, we've only touched the surface. I mean, we've obviously got a great reputation with your big MSOs out there, your Gerbers, your Classics, your Service Kings, and all of that. And we've got to get back out there now and get these guys convinced on why they need to buy the new product. Why do you need the Guni X now? You've got the my Guni Wheel 45 is doing a great job. Yeah, but what happens when you've got that electric car that comes in? Oh, yeah, you're right. We probably do need a Guni X. So now we've got to refocus that whole marketing strategy away from a normal universal wheel to a free rolling universal wheel now. So we got work to do.
Well, the good part about that is once you have that confidence built with the 45, they're going to know that there is a level there that you don't have to break through like you once did. Correct. When you were walking around in Atlanta with that original wheel, that they know, hey, this is a good product. This is a quality a product that we know and trust. So now it's a little bit easier of a sell than obviously it was before.
Correct. Yeah, we don't need to knock on the door as hard anymore. The doors are kind of open. So it's really a walk in now, and it's, hey, it's, the Guni Wheel guys, where before it was like, please sit down, wait 2 hours. Joe's still having lunch. He's just about finished his sandwich, but he still wants to have a coffee. So sit down and wait for him in the reception, where now it's a different story. Now there's a trusted brand out there. They love the brand. They see what the brand's done for the automotive industry, not just in the towing, but in the body shop world, we're saving guys up to 25% time on a repair now, because the car's not sitting on a jackstone, or the car's not holding up a bay. So we've actually brought a product out that has an ROI behind it. The return of an investment is 1 day on a set of wheels. Just by keeping cars moving in a collision shop, they pay that set of wheels off in 1 day, and after that, it's money. So we've actually brought a product out that has an ROI. So definitely they've realized that, and they're like, all right, these guys have brought something new out. It's got to be good. The last product was really good. This has got to be better. So yeah, it has made life a lot easier. And so, I'll give you a little story about my distributor in the Netherlands. So we brought out that other machine of ours, the fast puller that pulls the dents out. I don't know if you've seen that, but we sent out a whole bunch of fast pullers to our distributor in the Netherlands, and it only said fast puller on it. It didn't say fast puller by Guni Wheel. The guy phoned me, goes, no, Serge, that has to say Guni Wheel. Your brand is so well respected in the Netherlands and Germany. We have to put Guni Wheel on these damn fast pullers. So I had to send him labels to stick on every fast puller. So that was a happy moment. So yeah, we've definitely become a good brand out there.
Well, that is cool to hear that, because you've worked so hard on that, and it is a unique name. Obviously, the color, like you said, boom, you've got the orange, And what a fun thing to think, hey, my biggest struggle is the marketing to make sure that my return customer and new customer know what we have made. And now I just have to sell it to them. And the product will sell itself once they see it. And they, like you said, in 1 day's time, I'm going to save Johnny's back. I'm going to save Tony's back. And I'm going to save you money after the first day that you use a set of Guni X and you're moving around a Tesla, a Rivian, something like that. And again, in the fire department, we get stuck Teslas that don't move. I had a guy the other day, his kid's in the car. He's like, my kid's in the car. I can't unlock the car. And we're like, so they call the fire department. And you're like, okay, cool. And he, in his mind, this is hilarious shit. He's like, it says the car is 65% charged. Why can't I get my kid out of the car? And we're like, your car is 65% charged to drive to Flagstaff, but the battery that does everything else is not charged. And that's why your kid is stuck in the car right now. So now we got to figure out how to get your kid out of the car because your battery, which we can't get to, is dead. So you have these things that you would have never thought when I first got hired in the fire department. I could pop the hood on an old Chevy truck, or I could do these things that now I really have to make these adjustments in your brain. And not only that, but even funnier is the consumer just doesn't think the way they used to 20 years ago. Okay. So you're working with these guys and you're like, okay, how can we get this kid out of the car? And you're dealing with the same type of stuff with the weight, the electric vehicles, and really just all the different hub options, something to break through. So you've got the black, you've got the red, and then is it like a baby blue as well with the X? At what point do we know what each one fits? Is there a chart online? How do we know how that hub is going to work for each? And I got to think there's even going to be more hubs that could come out.
Yeah, so we've obviously created a table, so it will tell you exactly what the orange is for, what the black is for, what the red's for, and the reason we actually brought the blue out is because of the 6x120s that GMC and some of the American OEs decided to bring out. It's so weird to see a 6-bolt pattern at such a small PCD for some reason. So we actually brought that out for quite a small market, but it's becoming needed. So that's probably going to be our lightest seller. But we've also brought out on the red, we've actually added some PCDs for the ATV world. You've got the ATV guys that need it, they need the 156 PCD. So we brought that into the red. So now we've even accommodating for the ATV guys that need to transport those ATVs around the country and the wheels are too wide to get onto the back of their trucks or in their RVs. So they're putting Guni wheels on to, narrow the actual vehicle so they can move it around. So that's also incorporated into the red. Now, we do have a widget on our website, where you can actually put your year, make, model of your vehicle, and it will tell you exactly what your PCD is. And from there, you can either, go over to the table and see which wheel will work for you. But in fact, Zips is working behind, in the back end to actually make that more automated now. So it will actually tell you exactly which wheel fits on which car. So we've covered all those bases, for the end user.
Yeah, and there you go. I can't believe. The side-by-side market is so popular in the States.
Yeah,
I don't know anywhere else because I don't live anywhere else. But I cannot leave my house and go 5 miles without seeing a side-by-side, either on the road, like as a driver, on a trailer, some dude working on it in his house. The side-by-side world here in the States is redonkulous. So especially where I'm out west in Arizona, where we have some, land and whatnot. But yeah, I got to think that pretty soon the Gerbers and the Classics and the Service Kings are going to have walls of hubs, and they're going to be just like, here we go.
Yeah, well, that's what we hope for. And honestly, after your story with the kid stuck in the car, I'm hoping that every fire department buys a Guni wheel to smack the back window out of the car. You've got to break it somehow, right? So
we have some big ass tools for that. And my listener has heard this story multiple times. If you do break the window, it's usually best. Any guesses what window's the best window to break?
Well, I would say the small little triangle one, right? Which one would be the?
And that's why you would be wrong, because think about this. And then when I say it, you'll be like, oh yeah, what is the most, what window is made the most and most replaced?
That's it. I got you now.
Yeah. So really all you got to do is make a little hole. I always tell people, make a hole over the passenger side, make a little hole, reach in, get it out, tape it. You can still drive your car around, and then schedule your front windshield. And sometimes now they're saying some of the other windshields, but people used to do that. They would do the real small little window. And that's the hardest one to replace. It costs the most money. So nowadays we don't really break windows as much as in Arizona we do if the car is not running and it's in the summer and there's a child in there. Then we do break we kind of do a race because we can get into them pretty quick now. But yeah, we get it. I mean, we get it all the time. I would say at least once a week we get a kid or something that's locked in the car, and you're just like, how is this possible that people don't have clickers and phones? And it's just a random little thing. We had a guy the other day. I'm not lying. This was 3 days ago. This was their house, and they were outside having a hot toddy or a Johnny Walker with Sergio, and they have an adult special needs that locked the back sliding door, and they we can't get in the house. So they called us to get into the house. And I'm like, well, you have that little garage door thing. That's not working. And like, yeah, it's out of batteries. So I'm like, well, we'll put new batteries in it. So we put new batteries in it. Well, then she's like, I don't know the code. I'm like, well, let's just try some codes. Okay, no codes. We look over and we're like, well, there's a car right there. Is there a garage opener in that car? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, we can get in that car in 5 minutes and a minute. Get in the car. So we kind of break into the car, get the clicker, garage goes up, go in, get the house, unlock the door. Crazy shit. Guni wheel. We need to throw the Guni wheel through the front windshield of the house. I don't know.
The hub can double as a frisbee into the window.
Oh, that is a heavy frisbee. For Zips, what's the challenge for you guys?
So you bought a C10 and it either had AC at one time or it wasn't even an option. Well, Vintage Air has the solution for you. Their SureFit kits are designed to place the evaporator and hoses behind the dash for a factory clean look. The Vintage Air SureFit kits are the best value and the most completely engineered air conditioning system you can install in your C10. Damn, son, the choice is obvious. VintageAir.com.
So you're thinking about converting your truck from a long bed to a short bed. Here's what you need. Brothers Truck's long bed to short bed conversion bracket. Includes laser-etched steel templates with all the holes clearly marked and steel inner C-channel braces. It also includes front to rear brake lines, shorter parking brake cables, hardware, and all the detailed instructions telling you what to do. You can also jump on Brothers' YouTube channel for a detailed, step-by-step video to make the process easier. Brothers Trucks has an easy solution for you, and they even offer bedside parts as well. BrothersTrucks.com.
Classic Performance Products, CPP back. Joe, let's talk X10 spindles. Go.
One of our most popular parts through the years has been our 2.5-inch drop modular spindles. Really popular part. Well, we've kind of taken that to the next step. We've emulated late model Corvette, Silverado, Chevy technology into our new X10 drop spindles. They use a steel hub, sealed bearing hub, really strong piece. It's oversized bearings, definitely great for a guy using big brakes, big wheels, which I'm sure all your guys are.
You need a new spindle anyways. You're going to lower your truck. You're running a bigger wheel, a bigger brake. CPP's got it for you with their new X10 spindle. Joe, as always, thank you. CPP, classicperform.com. It's classicperform.com.
Sniper 2. Are you ready to switch out that old carb for a modern EFI system? Well, Holley has a solution for you. The all-new Sniper 2. This new system was redesigned from the ground up. Available in tumbled polished or black powder coat, and there's 3 available tuning interfaces. A classic 3.5 handheld, a 5-inch mountable, which includes a GPS speedo or a Bluetooth module so you can use your smartphone. Another big bonus is the Sniper 2 has a built-in transmission control module. So if you're looking to upgrade to a 4-speed overdrive, 4L60, 4L80, you now can with ease. Holley.com to get started today, Holley.com.
Marquet has been in business for over 40 years. It all started in the original owner's garage. From humble beginnings of a couple parts in a garage to a 2-building manufacturing facility making over 6,000 parts, Marquet has grown to be one of the country's premier truck parts manufacturers. They have made their original parts from the original trucks. All parts are manufactured in-house in Oklahoma City, USA. They offer quality parts built by Americans for old American-made trucks. So when you're looking for body moldings, bed strips, bedwood, and so much more, think Marquet. That's mar-k.com.
Oh, that is a heavy frisbee. For Zips, what's the challenge for you guys?
Yeah, so for us right now, it's all about education, right? Like that is, we've talked about it, is we've got some penetration in certain markets. It's getting those that haven't heard of us to understand what it is that the Guni Wheel does, and then into some of these other markets that we're looking to grow is how do we educate the masses? How do we get more wheels in front of more people so that we can see that light bulb moment happen across more industries, more shops, more of these, larger corporate entities? Is right now that's the focal point is how do we take this must-have tool and get it to those who must have it?
It's so fun to think like 5-10 years ago, now with social media, that people will do that for you. And I know that if I'm sitting in your shoes, I'm like, yeah, but I kind of want to do it myself and I want to have control. But you almost do both and you set it free. Now, I know with the original, people were doing burnouts on it. It says, hey, 5 to 8 miles, don't be a jackass. And it's like people are doing burnouts and they want to see what it'll do. And even that marketing is kind of still like it's bad and you don't condone it or sign off on it, but people are going to do stupid shit anyways. So they do it. And yeah, it's probably a fun, it's a fun, if I'm you, it's fun to think that this is what I'm coming to work to do, but there's also some challenges there. And once it gets rolling, it's pun intended, it's going to roll really well.
Yeah. And again, I think this is a living example of sort of how buyers are shifting, right? As your listeners, for example, listen to what you say on this podcast, and not because you have an agenda to push a product. It's simply because you used it, you believe in it, you realize it. So it's that authenticity. When you have a product as good as Guni Wheel that solves as many needs as Guni Wheel does, it's that authentic, hey, these guys that I respect their opinion, consider it a must-have in their shop. What am I missing, right? It creates that FOMO. What do they have that I don't? And I think, that is sort of the shift that, these influencers have created, and God bless them, right? I mean, you could do a $7 million Super Bowl commercial, or you can get in front of people with hundreds of thousands of followers that know that this person is only going to put their name on something that they believe in versus, just, another payday. So I think the way people buy is so unique and so different in the day of an age of social media and podcasts and influencers. And it's like those authentic brands really begin to flourish, right? This product really does work. It really solves real life problems. And so, our biggest challenge is, like we've talked about, is just we've got to get it in front of more people and educate those that need it, what it does and how it does it.
One of the things for you guys that will be part of that is they're going to see the orange and you got to get them to slow down just a scotch to realize, oh, that's not the OG. That's the new X. Oh, that's why it has the red hub. That's why it has the black hub, because I thought something was different. Because now, unfortunately, we're moving so fast. It's like, slow down. Okay, give me a timeout. I'm going to show you guys something new, because we're moving so fast. Orange, it's like scroll. And you're like, slow down, take a breath, And let me get a minute, because now that it went from still pictures to reels, and now they're like, oh, if you don't get them by 6 to 8 seconds, then good luck, because they're moving so fast. And then it's funny how sometimes I'll post on a couple different accounts that I have. I could post something, wait a week, post it on almost the same thing on another account, and it'll just take off. And you're like, what in the hell just happened? So some of that social media influencer perspective is also what you're dealing with when you're dealing with Meta, IG, TikTok, Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, what in the hell just happened? You know, sometimes you might get 200 likes, and sometimes you get 200,000 likes, and you're like, no clue. I don't know what just happened, but I'm not going to fight it.
Yeah, and you bring up a super unique point, right? Is that attention span of the doom scroller, right? Just going through and seeing, and the exciting thing, particularly about the X, is you see a video where that hub is stationary and the wheel is, or the car is still rolling. That's a 1 or 2 second realization to go, whoa, right? And you know, the evolution, we're moving at the speed of light. Think about the EVs, right? They're literally moving at the, like, look at the growth in the market share of these EVs and how this is a must-have solution for them. And to see that quick video of a seized up Tesla on the side of the road that is being winched up on the back of the tow bed because the outer wheel is free spinning, that doesn't take long for it to go, oh, and like you said, still got the orange footprint on there to make the statement.
Yeah, just gotta grab them. All right, what's next? Anything that's in the future, or are we holding tight? We're just gotta focus on X now, and that's the next focus, and the marketing and the consumer, and making sure that everybody's happy over the next 12 months, and some things are gonna come out. Will you ever? I don't think you are. Will you ever get into big rigs? 22-inch.
Yeah, so it's a strange market, but the big rigs, because their wheel patterns aren't really that universal. So most of the guys do have wheels sitting around the shop that are just that normal 10 by 220, whatever they are. So we just got to feel if there is a market. But we do have the Guni spares coming out, right? We've got the Guni emergency spare wheels. As we know. We've got 35 million vehicles in the United States without a spare wheel. They offer you some flimsy pump or a run flat. I believe they don't work. So Zips is now heading that program. We've got the 15, 17, 18, and we are possibly going to bring out a 21. So it's a universal spare wheel. Same system. Fits on anything, everything. Gets you from A to B. 55 miles an hour speed rating. And 15,000 mile lifespan on them. So that's coming out now 2025. It's going to be a massive launch with that, I believe, and we're working on that now. So keep a close eye on the market for that.
Do you ever find that, and I don't think you're going to answer it like negatively, because that's just not who you are. Do you ever say, like, I can't make everybody happy? Or are you saying, I'm trying to make everybody happy? Because people there's always like, you're like, dude, I'm kicking ass here. And then it's always like, well, why doesn't it do this? Well, why doesn't it do this? Why doesn't it do this?
Yeah. So, I try and make everybody happy. I'm built that way. I try and find a solution for everything and everybody. If I can't, I disappoint myself. I'm always out there trying to make sure that I give my customers the best, so there are moments where we cannot help a customer for some reason, and it's almost like, do I go and just design one wheel for this guy? And I'm like, I can't do that, it's just too expensive. So I do have those moments, but I generally try and satisfy everybody, from everybody from our current customers to our potential customers. And I got to give a shout out to Roadster Shop. I mean, those guys are out there selling chassis. Kinsa Chassis are selling chassis, and they're using our product now to, help their customers move the build around, so that's also a fantastic, partnership we got with those type of guys, so they came out, they reached out, they were actually, I think it was Roadster Shop that were actually also inquiring a lot about the 6x120 bolt pattern, and that's what made me go to the drawing board, So I also listen to my distributors, not just to the end user, but I try to please everybody. There is a limit where we cannot please everybody, which is tough for me, but I do my best.
Yeah, no, I think you really do. One of the things that, and I'm not sure what the biggest wheel height wise or dimensionally, but one of the comments from the restoration guys, the chassis guys, is because in our world, and I think I expressed this to Melissa, but everything goes so low, guys are wanting a taller wheel so that they can get that chassis all the way down, 29-inch height, 31-inch. And I was thinking about telling you this, and it's like I don't even know like if there's that big of a market or demand for something like that. And then it makes you think someday you're going to have some sort of centrifugal expanding Sergio wheel thing that's like, oh, I need it to be this big, or I'm gonna turn it and it's gonna go and it's gonna be 29-inch. Oh, now I need a 31-inch, and it's gonna stretch Armstrong
so
wheel.
I have got something on the back of my head. We are busy looking at creating, as we call them, Guni sleeves. So it's basically a sleeve that you can add onto the current 29, the Guni X. The Guni X is already at 23 inches, so it's quite a decent size. So we are looking at sleeves. The reason I can't go any bigger is because then the universal part's going to fall away. Because then we're not going to get these wheels to fit into the smaller wheel wells of your Kia Rios, your Fiats, your smaller cars. So we are looking at adding on a sleeve, for that type of market where the guys don't really bother too much about moving the chassis around much, but they do need that height. So we are looking at developing a sleeve that you clip on to the current X outer tire. So it is in the works.
Yeah, I love it. So it'll give you that height, and then you still have but you still have the core that you can move around, roll around.
Correct.
Hey, roll it around and then sleeve it and then do what you got to do from that perspective. Correct. So, well, thank you for coming up with everything that you continue to do, pushing the envelope, being the developer that you are, and teaming up with such awesome people. So in the States, if you want to buy a set of Guni wheels, do you automatically go to Zips, or it seems like, if I'm recalling, you're going to go to GuniWheel.com, and then that's going to have, and then it's going to say, hey, in this area, this is who you call, correct?
Yes, you can go to GuniWheel.com or Zips.com, and then you would just search for the Guni Wheel products, and we have everything in stock. We'd ship it within a day.
So for you guys that just joined in, that's sweet, Melissa. You guys have been listening to these three raspy voices, and then there comes Melissa, just comes right in. So again, it's GUNI wheel.com. And then if you go there, you'll see where to get it wherever you are throughout 39 different countries, all over 36 countries. Again, Sergio's got the big world map on his back here, and a lot of different look at that. So all over the world, from a guy that's hustling, walking the streets of Atlanta, to a guy who's sitting in Cape Town now with a something like that. It is a dream come true. And again, you've seen the orange wheels. Now, if you didn't put it all together, it is a Guni wheel, and they've got multiple different options for you. The new X. What does the X? Let's just go to the OG pricing versus like the X, just so guys get an idea of what they're looking at. Do you guys know, like, Justin, do you got that kind of a generic off the top of your head?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the OG product, which, we'll, at least for right now, we'll call it the 45S, right? That's really, the largest demand we have. It's about $827 for a set of 4 wheels. And then right now for the Guni X, depending upon what size or what kit you get, it works out to be about $269 a wheel for a Guni X right now.
All right. So my Mesa Public Schools math, 800, 7 times 4, 240, just over a G, about 1040.
So I guess we'll keep it we'll keep it fair right now for a set of 4. Melissa, what is a set of 4 for the Guni X if you buy it as a set?
Yes, it's a little under $1,000 to get a set of 4.
Okay,
Yep.
so that, and then
if you did the kit with all the hubs, then it would be about $1,400.
Okay, so if a guy or a shop buys one set of hubs and they're like, hey, I need the reds now, what does that cost to just say, oh, it's $199 to add another set of hubs?
Right. Yes, you can buy the hubs individually or at like $60 a piece, or you can bundle them in a set of 4, which would save you money as well. Like you said, so you get them for a couple $100.
Okay.
Yeah, so it becomes actually more economical than the original wheels because, with the original wheels, you had to buy a set of the Guni 56s, Guni Wheel 45, so you needed 8 wheels. Now you've got one
80.
wheel that does it all. So, you're spending $1,000, but now you've got to spend a measly $200 or $250 more for 4 of the hubs, and now you've got 2 set of wheels in 1 set of wheels. So it actually works out cheaper with the new Guni X.
Yeah, I mean, you literally made a product that's going to put potentially your old product kind of out of business. It's not, but the evolution is there, especially for the shops, right? The big shops, the paint and body guys. I mean, all day long, you got a couple sets of X's and multiple sets of hubs. You're going to save yourself money over the long run. But good, okay. Right. Awesome. Sergio, I hope I get a shot of Johnny Walker with you next week. You're coming out to SEMA. Zips, will you guys be out there?
Yes, we will. We're going to be at booth 36151 in the South Upper Hall.
Oh, South Upper.
Yeah, come see us.
36, what is it?
36151.
361. I love South Upper. A lot of fun up there.
A lot of fun
up there. We'll be hanging out in Central Hall, but of course I will, just to see Melissa. I don't care about you, Justin.
I know.
Yeah,
we'll have the X too, so you can get your hands on the wheels. Sergio will be there, and of course some of the influencers will be stopping by.
Okay, so, yeah, I think you were saying Ken Diggett's going to come by.
That's correct. He's going to do a signing on Thursday.
All right, sweet. Thursday it is. And speaking of Roaster Shop, they're going to have their party Best on RS. I think that's Thursday night. So next week it's going to be a party. Sergio, you're coming out. Safe travels, safe flight. Well, I guess everybody's traveling, so safe travels, safe flight. It'll be a busy week. I'm sure it's I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still work, but it's still fun, and to go to SEMA and have that kind of fun. I will get this out ASAP so we can let everybody know and do a little bit of marketing on my end as well. So thank you guys so much, Sergio. It's always a pleasure, and again, likewise. Safe travels for all you guys. I appreciate your time. Have a great week. I will see you next week.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey guys,
see you next week.
Great day.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Guni Day.
Yep.
Thank you.
See you guys. Pretty awesome, right? Sergio's the man. Kind of funny. We tried to schedule it, and I was off on my time zones because Arizona doesn't move around much. And I think it was a Friday down there, and he had already cracked open the Johnny Walker. So my kind of guy, really, I think he works hard and he parties harder. I don't even know if that's possible because the guy seems like he's a freaking worker, right? Making some really rad stuff. So cool story, cool product, cool journey, cool dudes doing rad stuff for us. We appreciate Sergio sitting down, obviously Justin and Melissa. And don't forget, come by and see us at the Get Down C10 Talk C10 Nation booth. I think Dino said we're on the corner in the apparel area. Come by, get a ticket, get a raffle, win a podcast, buy a shirt, buy a sticker, buy a hat, whatever you need. All right, guys, have a great week. Late.